So in this hyperlinked and very distracting world, getting the attention of other people, harnessing that attention, because you can't harness their energy and intelligence. The first thing you have to harness is their attention. You have to get their attention. It's getting more and more difficult. I define collaborative intelligence as the ability to harness the attention, energy, and intelligence of a group of people or a system of people. Now, you find examples of collaborative intelligence all over the place, but I want to share, I'm going to show you 3 versions of collaborative intelligence. The first version is everyone doing the same thing, except for this guy right at the back that I digitally tried to remove, but I don't know what he's doing. He's probably telling everyone when to jump. His feet are at the... But everyone jumping or everyone doing the same thing at the same time. Synchronized swimming version of collaborative intelligence. And then there's a second version. And the second version is, you know, people doing different things, but they know that they're not going to do it unless everyone turns up. A barn race, right? And the third version is the most exciting, and I believe is the most useful version of collaborative intelligence that I could share with you as a group. And that's my hero. Probably a version of this I bumped into in one of the 3 schools last week. And it had lots of fun with me, because my immune system wasn't collaboratively intelligent enough to deal with it. This is E. coli. E. coli is a wonderful example and probably one of the most collaboratively intelligent creatures on the planet at the moment. Geneticists or bacteriologists have actually demonstrated that E. coli can be forced, when it's forced to, can switch from consuming lactose, which is its preferred food, to actually thriving, not just doing, working on it, and like consuming it and getting by, but thriving on aspirin. Now, molecularly and biologically, this is the equivalent of us redesigning our gut so that we could digest tinfoil. Now, I know the fast food industry seems to be trying to do that to us anyway, but the point is that when E. coli, when the chips are down, E. coli reinvents itself very, very quickly. And the reason it can do this is because in the palm of your hand, if you had in the palm of your hand a colony of E. coli, God forbid, it'd be about 1 to 7 trillion bacteria. Each of those bacteria have the equivalent of a brain, which is a genome, interacting and gathering information from its environment and working out what's the best way for me to thrive and move on and for the gut. And I'll use the word sort of guardedly, but promiscuously, if you don't mind, Christian, using that sort of word, promiscuously sharing information. There are no patent lawyers in an E. coli colony. This gets to the very heart of something that's going on in our society and part of the transition that we're going to have to get our heads around. Some of the assumptions that we've made. The music industry did not respond resourcefully to the challenge, right? We all know what happened when Napster started to share music and stuff, right? And we got to get ahead of the game here. We got to move ourselves forward in terms of how we're using information, how it's generated, how it's evolved, who owns it. In 2005, a team of geneticists unlocked the secret of a particular bug's rapid growth. We're talking about MRSA here, right? The superbug that's in the hospitals. What they discovered was the largest collection of genetic upgrades ever discovered in a single organism. Bacteria are doing this. Out of the 52 genes that were devoted to defeating radiation, antibiotics, and other weapons of bacterial mass disruption. The vast majority of them had been bootlegged from other bad bugs like Salmonella, Pseudomonas. They are already living in an open source society. And that's why our society is struggling to deal with MRSA. The upgrading strategies that bacteria are using so heavily and are causing such a challenge in the health field are replicated in the open source software community. In fact, we are getting collaboratively intelligent, but we're sort of, it's like Gibson, the science fiction writer, said, the future is already here, it's just unevenly distributed, right? And so the open source software community is actually already a really good example of a community in the system that is acting with the intelligent, the CQ levels of bacteria. What would, no, let me change that, sorry. What will it be like when we have raised our CQ level to the level exhibited by these bacteria?